Hello again from the Lindo wing. Fevered anticipation of seeing the new baby Cambridge. We're told that should be not before too long, actually. We're expecting that he will be taken home to Kensington Palace by close of play today, as predicted all day here on Sky News, of course. So he weighed in at £8 and 7 ounces. He was born at 11:01 this morning. If you were living on the moon, you might not have known that, so I just thought I would reiterate it for you. What are the names, though? We don't know what the names of the royal baby are going to be. Somebody who is taking bets on it, though, is Sandro Michel from Sky Bet. Hello to you, Sandro. Thanks for joining us. Arthur, I'm guessing, is top of the tree.
Yes, right, Kay. Arthur, really popular. We're taking 3 bets on Arthur for every 1 bet on any other name. Currently, the 2-1 favourite was as big as 10-1 earlier in the week. So that seems to be one that the public have really got behind. It seems to have captured the public's imagination. But other names that are popular and at the top of the betting: James, currently a 4-1 chance. Albert, 8-1, and Philip, of course, the name of his great granddad, is also an 8-1 chance.
OK, what else is in there if you're going for an outside bet?
Oh, there's all sorts of funny names in there. You've got some of the more traditional ones. Henry, that's 10-1. Edward is 12-1. Jack, 16-1. Alexander, a 16-1 chance. Charles, the name of his grandfather, that's a 25-1 chance. William, his father's name, is 25-1. And then you've got some of the more wacky ones, the ones that are a little bit more left field. Zane, 100-1. Boris, a 200-1 chance, and Jeremy, a 200-1. Not really the sorts of names you associate with a prince, but we have taken the odd pound or two on some of the more elaborate names, if you like.
And can people bet on all 3 names, or is it just the one, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so generally, we just bet on the first name. As you can imagine, it can start to become quite complicated and confusing. And obviously, the most important thing is that when punters have a bet, they have a good run for their money and they know exactly what they're betting on. So we make sure that it's only the first name that you can bet on. Obviously, there are all sorts of other options on his second and third names. But yeah, we currently only bet on the main name. We want to try and keep it as simple as possible. People have a little bit, have a bit of fun, and there's certainly no confusion when it comes to settling these bets.
OK, and what about the fact that it was a boy? Is that where the smart money was?
Well, interestingly, the favourite name was actually on it to be called Alice. Now, obviously, there's Alice Cooper. Alice has been used as a boy's name, but I don't think it's going to be used in this instance. So we were expecting a girl, but that hasn't been the case. So this has been a bit of a surprise, and that has been reflected in some of these big price moves. The fact that Arthur was 10-1, James was 12-1, and Albert was 16-1 is a reflection that we did have the girls' names as the favourites, as our compilers seem to think that a girl was slightly more fancied than a boy.
And what about due dates? Were you always going with the 23rd?
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's naturally quite difficult to sort of keep a handle on and try and price up accurately. So as we got closer and closer to the official due date, you started to see the money change. And generally in these markets, they are only a bit of fun, but there always seems to be somebody who knows a little bit more than we do. And when you start to see the money for these things, we stand up, we pay attention, and we react accordingly. So by the time we got to close to the due date, we sort of knew it was on the cards. It was going to happen on the 23rd.
OK, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Thanks a lot. With us throughout the day, of course, has been Rhiannon Mills and also Alistair Bruce. Hello to you both. We are expecting to see this baby any minute now.
Fantastic. And, you know, it's the start of a life that will be seen in the public eye, and we're going to get the first glimpse of that process. And, you know, I think what a day they've had, you know, for the mother coming in, not all that early this morning, but quite early, and, you know, to give birth at 11:15, I think it was, and, you know, already heading home to be, and now they made 5. You know, this is the Cambridge family ready to go forward.
Would you stop there?
Well, people have said that it was always inevitable that she would have 3 children herself, being part of a family of 5 herself, because she's got a brother and a sister. Whether or not they'll have a 4th child, we'll just have to wait and see. But it all has all been so remarkably fast again. Admitted to hospital at 6 o'clock this morning, and yeah, in the next few moments, we're expecting her to leave hospital with her 3rd child.
BT Tower, you've seen in the past, has been proudly displaying the sex of the previous babies, baby Cambridges, and once again you can see they have got it right. It's a boy, says the top of the BT Tower. They've got a little stalk there as well with a blue blanket around the baby. As far as I nearly call him William again. As far as George was concerned, she was in labour for about 10.5 hours with him, and then just 2.5 with Charlotte, a little bit longer with baby Cambridge, but nevertheless out today, and that's not least because this is a very busy working general hospital and they don't want to get in the way.
And they're very much representatives of a modern generation, and that's the way hospitals like to do it now. You know, in the days of our parents, you know, you go into hospital for several days, and that is not the case now. But actually it's good for them because they can start setting the rhythm of the infant prince's life, and he can settle down with his brother and sister, who came to see him a little bit earlier today. And I would imagine at Kensington Palace tonight, it's probably one of the quietest, most peaceful places that they can all be to end this extraordinary day for them, and the first day in the prince's life.
The little ones came earlier on today.
They did. I wonder whether we're seeing some cars being manoeuvred into place just up the street.
Again, we've seen this car a couple of times.
Yeah,
this is the one that William came in, actually left in, and then he brought the children in.
Yeah, so it was just after 4 o'clock we saw Prince William leaving, looking very pleased, jumping in the car, driving back to Kensington Palace, where we were told that he was going to go and see how the children were doing, and then just half an hour later we got the pictures that we wanted.
He didn't have time to change out of his school uniform.
I wonder why that's why he's looking a little bit miserable. Can you imagine just having to spend a day at school and then being dragged out in front of all of these cameras? But lovely moment
little
from Princess Charlotte here.
That's
yeah,
2 waves from her, 2-0 to her.
But we now know Kensington Palace tweeted probably around 20 minutes after that George and Charlotte were going home, so they would have left via a back entrance. And they also confirmed that we would be seeing the Duchess of Cambridge leaving this afternoon. And they also were very careful to also tweet, their Royal Highnesses would like to thank all staff at the hospital for the care and treatment they've received. They'd also like to thank everyone for their warm wishes.
Indeed so. So the little ones, we're told, have already left. Couldn't really put them through this again, could we? Security just coming down the steps. This is the guy who is one of the close
We know
protection
that he's
officers.
He's a sign that we're getting quite close.
Yeah.
The whole thing has been beautifully choreographed today. It's been efficient, tidy. All the normal traffic's been able to run past. We've been here in the way, but of course we're not going to hang around after tonight, and the hospital can get back to normal.
You stand by, because I just want to look this way and see if
there's a car across the street.
They blocked the road off that way. And they've blocked the road off that way, which will suggest that they will be bringing that Land Rover in very shortly, Range Rover, popping it here. The police officer is on the front, at the top of the steps. So what we saw previously, and what I'm sure we'll see again, is about a minute or two before the royals come down, he will move out of the way. Then we'll see them come down with babe in arms, stand here, hopefully take a couple of questions. Rhiannon hopes to be able to ask them a question. Then they'll go back in again to thank the staff, put the baby in a baby seat, I'm guessing, and then put him in the car, and the prince will drive. Is that about right?
Yeah, well, that was the choreography that we saw for Princess Charlotte. And I think it's important for them to come out and, yep, certainly is. Is that ours? I'm not sure. Probably waiting to follow them back to Kensington Palace. I think they realise it's important that they come out, spend a few moments to stand on the steps, give the dozens and dozens of photographers the moment that they want, the pictures, the first pictures of the baby, as well as of the photographers here. They are right up in the hospital building as well. There's one photographer up there, so they can get that ideal shot, that front-on shot, hopefully,
it is our
of the baby. There we go. And then, yeah, back in, and again, time to say one final thank you to the staff, and away to Kensington Palace to get used to being a family of 5.
I don't know if we can just see the shot of all the photographers here. There's an absolute bank of photographers here who are just waiting for that money shot. There was some hope that potentially we might see all 5 of the Cambridges on the steps. That was just an outside chance, really. Arthur Edwards was telling us about that a little bit earlier on and saying that would be the shot that he would be looking for. I'm guessing the first time we'll see them all together is potentially for the middle child now, Charlotte's 3rd birthday, and maybe a photograph taken by Mum.
Maybe a photograph taken by Mum. I suspect it might just be a photograph taken either of the 3 children together, so maybe not with Mum and Dad. But yeah, you would hope that we will get certainly some kind of photograph fairly early on at home, but then the next moment is probably christening time, and if Princess Charlotte is anything to go by, that took place in the summer, so not that long to wait until we see the baby again. But I don't think we will obviously see George and Charlotte at Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding. Well, we anticipate that we will see them on the 19th of May. I really don't think we'll see the 3rd baby on that occasion.
Okay.
I think it's too young.
Okay. So as far as the Cambridges are concerned, we've been talking during the day, but for people who are only just joining us, people tuning in our way all the time, when will Her Majesty see the baby?
Well, I think as soon as she can, but she's down at Windsor now on the Easter Court, which is when she and all her household moved down to Windsor Castle in order to do certain duties. Quite difficult for her to get away, and she is now in her 93rd year. But I think she is of the generation she'd want the young infant prince to be settled into his new routine and wouldn't want to disturb that. So she'll probably communicate with her grandson and granddaughter-in-law and find out what's best for them, obviously bearing in mind her schedule. She'll be terribly excited by this news, as any great-grandmother would be. She has always enjoyed the next generation coming along, and she remembers her previous generations being excited when she came along. And so, you know, this is a really special family occasion, but it's also a national moment because the United Kingdom and 15 other nations have a new prince.
Charles and Camilla, and I'm guessing the Middletons will want to be maybe there as early as this evening.
I suspect tomorrow. That's what happened last time with Princess
You want your mum,
Charlotte.
though, don't you, when you've had a baby?
Yeah, you wonder whether Carol Middleton will turn up tonight. Kate is particularly close to her parents, and yeah, it might be nice to have an extra pair of helping hands, although of course she does have the nanny as well, so she has got that luxury at home already. So we wait and see, but we will have to wait for the name. That didn't come for a couple of days after Princess Charlotte was born, and I think
is that because it's, sorry to interrupt, is that because they need to run that in front of Her Majesty, past Her Majesty, or although I'm guessing they've already done that?
Well, I think most parents like to have a look at their child and just see whether it is a this or that. Now, I reckon the scene is now set.
Here we go. So I'm guessing that we will be seeing the royal couple in just a moment or two. As I said to you, the police officer has moved to one side. All these cameras are now trained on the front door of the Lindo wing, so to get the first glimpse of baby Cambridge, who was born this morning at 11:01 a.m. Mum went into labour around about 6 o'clock. She was brought here, driven by her husband, and then just after 11 o'clock, he was delivered, £8 1 ounce. He's already met his older brother and his older sister, and he'll be taken home to spend some more quality time with them in the next few moments. Security just moving outside as well, having a final glimpse around and making sure the coast is clear for the Royal Cup. It's quite chilly today. Here we go. Here they come. She looks absolutely gorgeous, doesn't she? As always. Baby wrapped up warm.
Congratulations. Congratulations from all of us.
I'm sure they'll come down the steps a little closer, waving to the crowd, some of who've been here for a fortnight or even more. Taking it easy in those heels. She's done it again. How impressive is that?
Another wave there. Congratulations. Congratulations. How are you both feeling?
I wonder if they'll come over and talk to us. They didn't last
How
time.
are Prince George and Princess Charlotte feeling?
How is he?
waving to the crowds just to the right of them, also to the staff who are leaning out of the windows here at St Mary's Hospital on the walkway as well. We're hoping that they'll walk maybe a little tiny bit closer and perhaps give us a few words, certainly posing for the photographers and the media from right around the world. Recognising one or two people in the crowd, the press pack, of course, travelling right around the world with the royal couple. Looks as though they're not going to be taking any questions yet. As far as the names are concerned, Arthur is the front runner. So maybe they'll take a question or two. Should we just pop back up again? Maybe they'll take a question or two when they finally leave. So they've gone back inside and they have put the baby. They'll say thank you to the staff. They'll put him in his baby seat and the car is just getting the nod. Here they come. As you can see, the cars are now moving into position as well. So it's going to be very soon before they're out of there, I guess.
I think it's very interesting that they obviously realise they need to come out, pose for the photographs, but they don't seem keen to answer questions or talk too much about this private moment. Lots of smiles, obviously very happy to be there with their new son in their arms. But this is an incredible day for the Duchess of Cambridge. If you think she only went in to labour 6 o'clock this morning, and now 12 hours later, she is emerging out of the hospital, ready to go home. And while she looks spectacular, she looks amazing, the stylist has been in there, the hairdresser has been in there, I suspect she is feeling absolutely exhausted. And I think you could tell there that Prince William was feeling very protective of her.
Of course.
I think guiding her, saying, let's look this way, let's look that way. Oh, look, there's Arthur Edwards, the photographer. And I think they just didn't necessarily want to engage. They didn't want to share too much. It's such a personal moment. But there they are.
There they are, as you can see. Ambulance is just being allowed to go through. As we were saying, this is a working hospital. Alistair, she looked amazing.
She did.
Again.
I know she must be absolutely exhausted. I can only guess, being a man, at what she must have gone through. But she is, with the support of her husband, so tickled pink about her little baby boy, and she is radiantly smiling to everybody there and taking in this moment and recognising as a protective mother that this is a world into which her little boy has been born that involves an enormous number of cameras and a huge amount of interest.
Yeah, indeed. So it's interesting, the car is literally just behind us, so our viewers will get a spectacular shot as he puts him into the baby seat. And the attention to detail.
I think Rhiannon will have her chance when the Prince comes round here.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And they're coming out in just a second. Here we go again, here we go again. My goodness, not hanging around, are they? Here we go. They've already checked. I saw this. Baby being put into the back of the car. We saw the Prince wipe his brow. Oh, somebody else is fastening the seat this time, just to be on the safe side.
Sir, congratulations. How are you all
Congratulations, sir.
And how are Prince George and Princess Charlotte feeling?
Twice worry now.
Good luck.
Find out sooner or later.
Just a word or two from the Prince and Mum sat in the back of the car with baby Cambridge, not taking it any chances with fastening the baby seat this time around. There you go, you got your chance.
Breathing a sigh of relief, I think, Prince William there. Lots of smiles.
What did he say to you?
He said 3 times the trouble now.
Right.
Yeah, really pleased.
Yeah.
I think just a happy father, but so protective. You can tell. Making sure
Much quicker this time.
Making sure that Kate in the car, baby in the car, and then he took the time to just answer a few questions, give us a few quips, and home. But it's been such a day for them, a really long day.
Yeah.
Well, and also fantastic that he is driving, his wife is in the back, his new son is in the back, and his pride as a father, just like so many others, taking home their child to start a life. And, it's been really special to be here. It's part of history. this is not just a child for one family, it's a prince for 16 nations. And, you know, it's a start of a story, and who knows where and how the chapters will develop.
Did the snappers get their picture?
I think they did. I think in the past there's been a concern that sometimes that baby is still so young, only born at 1 minute past 11 this morning. And of course, it's quite cold out here, as we know. We've been standing around here all day. And so they're going to want to have the baby as wrapped up as possible. We can see them now driving back to Kensington Palace. Sometimes the blankets can get in the way of seeing the baby's face.
Yeah, I'm sure they look into that, though, don't they?
But I think this time, yeah, they made sure that you can see the baby. Within seconds, though, the photographs that have been taken will be out there online, on social media, so we will be able to get a glimpse of that little baby's face. And yeah, it's amazing now. The whole road has been opened up. I think William and Kate were very aware of disrupting the normal operating hours of the hospital. And so not just for them, but also for the hospital, I think it is perfect that within 12 hours, we've seen the Duchess of Cambridge admitted here to the Lindo wing in the early stages of labour. 8 o'clock this morning, we were first told of that news. Then at around 1 o'clock this afternoon, we were told that she had the baby at 1 minute past 11. And now, just before 6 o'clock in the evening, they are heading home to prepare for a life as a family of five.
Yeah, at least 5. They may well have more, because Her Majesty had 4, did she not?
She had 4, yes, and